Hello and a very warm welcome back to Eurovision 365. It's so good to have you here. Come on in and make yourself at home. For a bit of fun, I thought I'd pretend that a genie had granted me some Eurovision wishes. And of course, one of those wishes for me would be to become producer of Eurovision 2023. The producer of the contest has many roles, but of course, one of the most important is to decide the running order of the semi finals and ultimately the grand final. I've mixed feelings, I have to be honest, with the producers having this responsibility. I totally understand and totally appreciate that the Eurovision had to move with the times, but there was something magical about the draw and the running order being totally at random back in the day. The argument for having producers involved in the running order is backed up in terms of ensuring there's a good balance of songs throughout, but also to ensure stagehands have adequate time to move huge props in between songs. Some argue, of course, that the running order hasn't much to do with a country's success. Indeed, I watched a documentary about the making of Eurovision 2021, and one of the producers involved in that said and suggested that it doesn't really matter where a country is drawn in the final. Try you telling that to the country and the performer that is drawn to perform song 2 at the grand final. I think they might have a different idea. So anyway, it's now time for me to pretend I am indeed that producer of Eurovision 2023, and coming up right now is how I would have the running order of semi-final 1. In another episode out very soon, I will be doing the same for semi-final 2. And of course, I'd love to know what you think, so do get involved and let me know in the comments below your thoughts, your suggestions on the running order, and I look forward as always to reading those. But for now, here is my running order of semi-final 1. So the allocation draw took place at the end of January, of course, and you can see here which countries are in the first half of the semi-final, that's 7 in total, and which are in the second half, that's 8 in total. There are, of course, 15 songs taking part in the first semi-final, and usually there are 2 commercial breaks in the semi-finals. For the purposes of this running order, for me, I'm going to place the ad break after song 6 and after song 11. So after song 6 and after 11. I think one of the really important things that a producer has to think about is which songs are more suitable and most suited to opening the semi-finals and which are most suitable to closing the semi-finals. And usually what we see are bangers to end the semi-finals, and sometimes that isn't always the case for the beginning of the contest, but usually speaking they want to start with an up-tempo fun song which sets the theme, of course, for the semi-final. And for that reason, who I think is best suited for opening the show is Ireland, Wild Youth. And I have to be honest with you, I did think about this for a while. In fact, I've thought about all of these placings for quite a while, and I've been sort of changing and moving things about, and I've been listening to all the songs as they would be in this running order just to see how they will sound on the night potentially. So I've chosen Wild Youth. I almost chose Mata to open the semi-final with Dance Our Own Party. I think that is a good party song, but Wild Youth probably is more fitting and more suitable because it is quite anthemic. We Are One really aligns with the slogan for this year, of course, United by Music. And I think I'm right in saying this just by memory. I don't think Ireland have ever opened a semi-final. I'm just going through them all in my head here very, very quickly. And I don't believe Ireland have ever opened a semi-final. So maybe 2023, or indeed in my case here as a producer, of course, Ireland are opening the contest. In this, number 2 is Croatia. There's a lot of bands, of course, in the semi-final, and particularly in the first half of the draw, and it's Croatia in at number 2, and in a 3 it's Latvia. I almost put Latvia at 2, but then someone reminded me, of course, that Latvia and Zeni were drawn second last year in the first semi-final as well, so perhaps that would be a bit unfair on Latvia. But yeah, so far we have Ireland at 1, Croatia in 2nd, and then Latvia in 3. After that I have Norway and Alessandra with Queen of Kings. I think that would be good. anthemic, up-tempo, energetic song, and that would be very nice to hear after the Latvian entry. And then at 5 we have Malta, and of course the busker. So again, carrying on and that kind of party feel, and ensuring that the contest is continuing and the semi-final is continuing to move at a nice, happy, fun pace. Of course, it's really important, isn't it? I think that we have a lot of joy and a lot of fun at this year's contest. Any year, of course, that's important, but particularly this year as well. So far we have the first five in the running order. We have Ireland at 1, Croatia 2, Latvia 3, Norway 4, and Malta in 5. And then there's a commercial break coming up after this next song. And of course, Portugal is the country I would have just before the ad break. The reason I choose Mimikat is because, well, you know, you've seen the performance. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy. And I think that cabaret, that fun factor, the performance that Mimikat is sure to give us is going to be a great one to have the first commercial break. And then coming after the commercial break, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. There's going to be 5 songs in between. From my running order, there's going to be another 5 songs to come before the second and last commercial break of the semi-final. And up after the commercial break, I have placed Serbia. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit edgy. And Luke Black gives a real cool performance of that song. And I think that would be a nice song to come back to after the commercial break. So following Serbia, I have Switzerland, and that's a slower song, and I think that would be a nice contrast to what's gone before it. Of course, we've had a few up-tempo songs really from Norway right through to Serbia really, and Switzerland would be probably a nice welcome slower pace to the semi-final. After Switzerland then, song 9, I have Czechia, Czech Republic, and Vesna with their My Sister's Crown. Just before the Netherlands at song 10, and of course that's an easygoing, slow-paced song, and I imagine that would be again a nice contrast to Czech Republic. Then just before the second commercial break, I have Finland and Karja and Cha Cha Cha. And just like Mimikat for Portugal, I think that Karja would be an entertaining performer and will stick with the viewers, and probably, I would say, entice them, the casual viewers I'm talking about, entice them to come back to see what's coming after the commercial break. And I think that's key. And I'm putting myself in the producer's shoes here, and I'm thinking to myself, what would I have at the commercial break just before to entice viewers, the casual viewers, to come back for more? And I think Karja and Finland with Cha 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 would be just the song to do that. So then after the commercial break, because of the amount of time it takes to get the staging set for Loreen, I have Loreen and Tattoo in at song 12 just directly after the commercial break. And I don't think it takes as long to disassemble her staging, but I know it takes quite a while to get it up and running, especially that screen towards the top of her, what some people are calling sandwich maker. So yeah, song 12 I have Loreen. Moldova then I would have at 13 just after her. Again, a bit of a contrast, and Pasha, and obviously the performance there is a little different. It's also a bit cool, a bit ethnic, and I think would be a good contrast. So then again, to give people a little bit of a breather, after the excess of Karja and Sweden and Moldova, I would then have Azerbaijan and Tell Me More. Again, a nice easygoing song, a chill song. I think would be better to have them going not just last, but near enough last to sort of break that up tempo and that maybe the more outlandish songs for your more conservative viewer. So yeah, Azerbaijan at 14, and that of course leaves Noah Kirel and Israel to close the first semi-final. I want to have a little bit of space between Loreen and Noah just to give them both a chance. Obviously, I think they have every chance and will, I would say, progress to the final, but just to have a bit of a space between those two big hitters, as it were. So yeah, just to go over one more time who I have in the running order here. So just to give you a bit of an idea how that is going to look, or how that would look if I was the producer, let's have a look at these songs in the order that I have placed them. So that's my thoughts, and that's my running order if I were producer of semi-final 1. I'd be interesting to see how close or how far off I am with this prediction. But of course, I'd love to know what you think. Get involved. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, what your running order would be for this first semi-final and indeed the second semi-final. Speaking of that, I will of course, as I said at the start, be sharing with you my prediction of the running order for semi-final 2, so keep an eye and an ear out for that. As I said, let me know your thoughts on this, and I look forward as always to reading those. But until next time, you take care, and I'll see you very soon.